all. I wanted to share a story I wrote this morning during my morning reflections. It's called The Weight in His Chest. Tom had spent most of his life trying to outrun the feeling that he didn't matter, probably because his father was just as busy as him trying to make ends meet. He never said it out loud, of course. He just worked. Long hours, double shifts, side jobs. He wasn't lazy, and that meant he was good, right? The men in his family had all been the same. Builders, breakers, strong voices with heavy silences. You carry your own weight, you fix your own mess, and you don't stop. So Tom didn't stop. Not when his wife quietly folded inward and left. Not when his son grew dull-eyed and distant. Not even when he exploded at a customer, trying to prove that he was right when they were arguing over a bill. He remembered how it felt, like his whole body cracked open and tried to prove, I'm not nothing. I matter, and I know what I'm doing. He nearly lost his job that day. Since then, he swept the garage at the auto shop with extra care on Monday mornings. No one asked him to, he just did it because he said it needed to be done. But really, it was shame, trying to brush away a stain that bled deep beneath the surface. A way of saying, I know I went too far, I know I'm too much to handle, but I'll show you I'm worth a damn. Underneath it all, he still believed that life is fragile, things break easily, even from the smallest of mistakes. And if you want good things, you gotta grind to get them and then kill yourself to keep them. That morning, the shop was still. It was too early for customers, too early for noise. The broom scratched across the concrete in a rhythm that felt too familiar until he noticed the clock. It had stopped. The sound that had marked his daily routine for 5 years. But suddenly, no ticking. In fact, he heard no sounds at all. No humming vents, no buzz from the lights overhead, no wind through the cracked window. Just silence. And in that stillness, he could hear but one sound, his own breath. Not grasping, not desperate, just there, in and out, like it had always been. But this time, he listened, and with that listening came a flicker. Not a thought, but a knowing, a gentle rush of awareness. How many colds had he fought off? How many cuts had his body sealed? How many times had he taken hits on ladders and under cars, behind the wheel, and it just healed. His chest kept rising, his heart kept rhythm, his lungs had pulled in air even on the nights he couldn't sleep. All without being asked, all without applause 1,000 times a day. And here it was again, this breath, still here, taking center stage. And he thought of his boy, when he was newborn, blue and silent, as they always are, until that first cry broke loose. It had been more than just a sound. It was an announcement that life had entered the room. The lungs exploded, the will to live awakening, a body declaring its power for the first time. Flash forward in his mind to the months that followed, how he'd hold him, chest to chest, breath to breath, their torsos rising and falling in rhythm effortlessly. He knew he was special, but he hadn't known that that moment was holy. And now suddenly he did. He saw himself in the memory of his child's face. And then another thought came. His son, now 16, angry, silent, always hushed over a screen, a tiny device that built a huge wall that all the shouting in the world couldn't break. Tom hadn't known what to say lately. Deep down, he always felt like a disappointment, like a ghost walking through his own house. A life hell-bent on growing cold no matter what he did or said. But what if his son didn't need the right words? What if his son needed most was just for Tom to still be here, breathing, staying, trying again tomorrow? What if presence was a gift? What if the breath between them, quiet, ordinary, and steady, was the most powerful thing he could offer? The proof that love doesn't always come in speeches. Sometimes it moves quietly in the same room like a gentle breeze. After all he had done to proclaim his worth to ears that couldn't hear. Even the knockout, drag-down fights, the end result was always silence anyway. What if he could rest? Do less and try less and just be. He looked around the garage, the same old tools, the same old stains, same walls, but something was different. The weight on his chest hadn't lifted. but it no longer felt like failure. It felt like presence. He'd been part of something holy without realizing it. He was breathing. Not because he was strong, because he was sustained by something deeper. Something unearned, something alive. And then the furnace clicked on, the clock resumed ticking, the overhead lights buzzed back to life, and the wind pushed gently through the cracked window, moving a curl of paper across the floor. The world had restarted, but with him as a part of it, not grinding against it. Tom picked up the broom again. Same floor, same cracks, same unfinished life. But he moved differently, not to prove anything, not to punish himself, but to give thanks with this breath that he was given. A quiet rhythm, a strength that didn't come from effort, a prayer to a name that didn't even need to be spoken, only breathed. The point of this story is like the old saying, you're a human being, not a human doing. Some things in life are merit-based, for sure, but overall, life is powerful. It tends to just keep going, the same way love is powerful. Your body has trillions of viruses and bacteria and even cancer cells floating around on a day-to-day basis, and yet somehow life persists. Your immune system deals with it, and you continue living. And it's the same for your internal world, for your spirit, for your heart, for your mind, for your relationships. It's tougher than you think. You can recover from things you would never expect. Things can regrow that you wouldn't think possible. You just have to be there. Feed yourself the best things you can, give it your best effort, but also rest. Be at peace. Let things go when it's time to let them go. Don't carry the world on your shoulders your whole life, or you might just miss how beautiful it is, because you can't see it. That's my thought of the day, and I just pray that you're blessed, and hope that you live the deepest, richest life that you can. Talk to you later.